Welcome back to Switch to Linux. Well, today we want to have a look at the Fedora 32 beta. We're going to run through the installation process because they have a very nice OEM installer. And then while it's doing its installation thing, then we will go ahead and look at the release notes and anything else that we want to do. So I have a virtual machine created with it. We're going to go ahead and push the power button and let's go ahead and get started here. So when we first get in here, we can come over here and select what we're going to do. We're just going to start it. I'm not going to test the media first, but we'll go ahead and get this guy started, and it's going to give us an option to test it out or to just go ahead and run the installation. I'm just going to go ahead and run the installation. That's going to get us a good OEM installer going on. And when we have that done and running, then we'll go ahead and jump on over to look at our release notes and things like that. So with that, it's just kind of finishing up here. It'll take just another couple seconds. Okay, so here on the login, we have the option to install to the hard drive or to just try it. We're just going to run the installation process. And we'll, like I said, walk through the installation process. And then once that is done, then we are going to have a look at the release notes and things. So here it's going to default. Hopefully it picks your locations. For me, it did pick English and English United States. This is a warning that we get anytime Fedora does a beta release, anything that's pre-production. So just say, I want to proceed. Just don't want to use the betas necessarily for your, just for your everyday day-to-day release. It will tell you it's a pre-release, a testing distribution up here in the corner. Everything else is pretty much set or automatically detects America's New York time zone, the keyboard. And here with our location, we're just going to pick our box here. Since the disk is full, it should give us a pop-up here noticing that we need to reclaim the space. So we're going to go ahead and hit the reclaim space. And then I'm just going to go ahead and delete all, hit reclaim space. And now this guy should check and automatically done. Now we're going through, and at this point in time, we don't have anything else to do until the installation process is complete. So let's go ahead and have a look at our release notes. And before we do, if you like technology and you like science fiction, I do have a science fiction novel coming out soon. Our targeted release date is around May. Could be a little bit later with the current environment of things, but we are targeting for about May still on the release. So this is Sinatra G, the synopsis. Mark woke up in a hospital room, unable to remember why he was there, but this was overshadowed by his being paralyzed. Using his robotics education connections, he rebuilds his once functional body. In the process, the team soon discovers a cost for restorative technology. What could be the price to restore bodily functions? Mark will need to determine if he will want to pay that price. You can find out more information clicking on the Get Updates. There is the newsletter. We'll update you when that information comes about. And you can find that at sinatrag.com or tlm.li/s. All right, so on to the release notes. You can head on over to getfedora.org if you want to grab the release. And the main additions up here, we have a workstation and a server. Of course, the server is going to be without a desktop environment. The workstation is going to be your basic Gnome environment. If you do want to run extra distributions, you can head on down to the Fedora Spins section down here on the website. And then you have over here a Plasma build, XFCE, LXQT, Mate with Compiz, Cinnamon, LXDE, and Sauce. So you have a variety of different things. Now, Fedora also has builds for Raspberry Pis, and I believe they also have a build for the Pinebook as well. So if you're looking for something a little bit more specific, you can hunt around on the website and find more information. Now, as far as the release of this one here, we have, of course, don't get too caught up in the 32-bit. It's 32 beta. This is the release note. So the first major software things that they're going to do is we have early OOM. And I've never heard of early OOM, so I looked into it a little bit. So it actually starts by saying it generally has a bad reputation among Linux users. Maybe part of the reason Linux invokes it only when it's absolutely no other choice. Basically, what the thing will do is it will scan your available memory. And if your system is about to run out of memory, it's going to sequence everything, look at everything, and rate everything OEM scores or OOM scores, and then it's going to drop things with the highest score. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I just don't know much about this particular situation. So take that for what it is. Like I said, this is the first time I've seen this, and that happens every now and again. There's packages we don't really know about. But you can read about what it does. So this is enabled by default out of the box. So presumably it's going to allow you to recover from a full memory situation much sooner. The other thing out of the box that we have enabled by default is fs.trim. So fs.trim is a package that you want to run if you are using Linux on an SSD. It's going to preserve and prevent the faster wearing of an SSD. This is actually something that has greatly helped out for anytime you're running an SSD on a Linux distribution. So out of the box, it looks like this version of Fedora is going to recover from memory issues a lot better, and it's going to preserve your SSDs much longer. Other than that, we just have updated software, including Gnome 3.36. So Gnome 3.36, this was just released a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week ago or so. We have a few new extensions. We have a Do Not Disturb button right on the top of the notification drop-down box, up in the top center of the screen. We have a better looking lock screen. That's good. Gnome needed a better looking lock screen for a while. And then there's a few other main changes. System settings has been changed around a little bit as well. Apparently we have some parental controls. I want to have a look at that. So we'll have a look at some of the Gnome 3.36 stuff in the middle of all of these. So with that, let's jump on over to our installation process and see how that is moving along. All right, so our installation is complete. That took, I don't know, about 10 minutes maybe. Let's go ahead and push our finish installation, and then it should issue a reboot sequence. If it doesn't issue a reboot, then I'll go ahead and manually reboot it. And then you notice that on the installation, we did not set in any user account information, anything else in the system. All of that is going to be set when we actually start the system. All right, so now we are rebooting the system without the drive in there. Hopefully we should boot full screen and all that fun stuff. Let's see what we got. So here is the Fedora loading screen you can see. And when I first tested this out, I did get a little error. I oftentimes get those on the betas. They're usually resolved by the time the full releases come out. But when it boots up here, we're going to boot into the desktop, and then we're going to go through our account creation setup. We're going to go through a few other options like location services and things like that. So here we are. We've landed on the desktop, and we'll give it just a second for it to pop up. All right, so here is our welcome screen for Fedora. It's welcoming us in all sorts of languages here. Hit our next. We can enable or disable our location services and our automatic problem reporting. Generally on a production, I'm going to keep this off. I'm actually going to keep it on right now because we are running a beta in a virtual machine, and any information back to them will be useful. So let's go ahead and do this. You can set up your accounts. So I could set up a Nextcloud account or Facebook, Microsoft, Google. But hey, you could do my Nextcloud if I wanted to. I am not going to do that. Now, Nextcloud on this version is going to allow us to easily sync files back and forth. It's going to sync my contacts. It's going to sync my calendars automatically integrated into the core of the desktop. So if you are using those types of services, a GNOME desktop does make a lot of sense. Of course, Cinnamon and Budgie will also do the same, being based on GNOME. So here we have to give us our name. Let's go ahead and enter in our name. You can use an enterprise login, but let's just go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and enter my super secret password that is definitely not 123. It is warning us that that is a short password, but that's okay. Now we can start using Fedora. So it's going to reboot here, and what I want to do first, here it's going to give us a help screen, so if we would like some help. So you can see, whoops, we had an error, and the problem has been automatically reported. Thank you, sir. I got that same error before. So here we actually have some ways here that you can just getting started, how to switch tasks and things like this about GNOME. We're going to go ahead and close that out. First thing I want to do, though, is I want to see this new login section. So we're going to go ahead and log out. And I want to see this new revamped login screen because that old login screen was very dated. Has it changed? Really? Has it changed? Interesting. Let's have a look. We have those items up there. Information there. Let's go and enter our super secret password. I'm guessing that we'll have either on this screen. Oh, wait, hold on. Down there. Down there at the bottom. This is where it can choose between GNOME, Classic, and Xorg. So right now, we are on Wayland. Let's just go ahead and proceed on Wayland. They actually move that to the down in the corner. So if you're used to the changing desktop icon, they moved it down to the lower right corner. So be aware of that, I guess. That was a change I didn't see coming. All right, so now that we are on the desktop, here is our build. We have our Firefox, Calendar, Rhythmbox, Photos, Files, and our Software Center. Let's boot up the Software Center first. Sure, let's go shopping. Why not? All right, so not sure why LibreDraw opened up to that. So here when we first boot this guy up, we have this ability to enable third-party repositories. We're going to go ahead and do that. Let's have a look at over here is installed. Here is update. So it is checking for system updates. So presumably this might solve that problem with that error we got on login that I saw a couple times. So we can check our software repositories, update preferences, and about the software. So we can enable or disable automatic updates and automatic notifications. Those are both enabled by default. So here we have a few changes, LibreOffice, boxes, and OS updates. So we can see what we are updating here. Network manager stuff, just a bunch of little changes. We're not going to install those right this second. So software repositories, this is where you can enable or disable third-party repositories. So Google Chrome is disabled. So if you do want to use Chrome, you can go ahead and click on this and enable it. We have the same for non-free NVIDIA drivers, so you can enable this. Non-free Steam, you can enable this. And then a variety of other things are enabled or disabled. You can just go ahead and click on these and enable or disable them at will. So you have the ability to do those, and presumably if you will enable certain of these, like your non-free NVIDIA drivers, then yes, it will hopefully automatically be able to check for your driver updates. All right, other changes in GNOME 3.36. Like I said, this has been revamped a little bit, the power off button, things like that. Here is our settings. And of course, that used to be down at the bottom. I actually kind of liked it better as little icons at the bottom, but hey, I understand the change. Why not? All right, so over here we have our settings. Here's our network. We have our Bluetooth. There's no Bluetooth found here. We have our background options. So we have a variety of different backgrounds available. And if I were to pick a background, let's see. I'm not seeing the option where I can pick the background for this or the lock screen. Maybe it's not there. That used to be something you could pick independently. So not sure where that is. You can add a photo from your individual place. So this is actually, I'm not sure if this is more or less user-friendly or not. I'm not really sure. You used to be able to just click in here and see the basic system, add a photo or something from your photos or something else. You can, though, add a photo from anywhere. That is an improvement. Notifications. You have a Do Not Disturb mode here, which has always been there, but a new thing in GNOME is it's also now right here in GNOME 3.36. So that is a useful thing. You can turn on or off lock screen notifications, and then you can set individual notifications for individual applications here. So that is good. You can also enable or disable search in a variety of different places. So I might not ever really want to search inside of contacts. Who's searching the calculator? Can I meet this person, please? If you're searching the calculator, I'd like to meet you. I really want to know what you're doing. What are you searching for? The final digit in pi? I mean, come on. Here's applications. So inside of your applications, kind of like an Android-esque, you can enable or disable notifications and things over here as well. Privacy tools, location is turned off. You can turn it on over here, and then you can specify which applications have requested various permissions, whether they be microphone access, camera access. So this is kind of becoming like Windows 10-esque, except they're giving us a lot more control. All right, so online accounts is over here. We can see that we have more options for online accounts as well. So it's not just the original 4 that we had. You have more. It's just these are the ones that will allow you there. So here is file sharing. You can enable or disable file sharing, remote logins, media sharing, things like that. So that is a cool function. Okay, displays. So actually, I mean, I am liking the organization of this a lot better. It's fewer clicks to get to things, and that's actually a good thing. They used to have a lot of this stuff down at the bottom, all inside of submenus, and you'd have to go in and kind of figure out where all of those items were at. A little annoying, actually. Items installed by default, we have boxes, calendar, contacts, files, maps. We have LibreOffice installed. There's our settings, software, utilities. So really not a lot of software installed. I'm not even seeing a mail application. Is there one? Yeah, we don't even have a mail application installed anymore. I used to love that Fedora used to have Evolution installed by default. They dropped that for a while. I thought they were going with Geary, I think, but I'm not even seeing that installed by default anymore. So that's neat. Let's see if the LibreOffice spelling checker is in place or not. I'm guessing it probably is. They are running the latest version of this. I saw from the update screen. So let's double check that. Dude, close. Stop. I don't want the release notes. Thank you. Jeesh, stop. All right. It is a little sluggish. That's possibly Wayland. So we have 6.4. All right. Let's go ahead and check for a spelling checker. Spelling checker is enabled, so that is cool. There we are, and we're getting too close to that header up there. We do have synonyms there as well, and so we do looks like I have a whole stream of extensions. The theming, light theming, but it is actually very nice light theming. This looks pretty good. Let's have a look at what our tabbed view looks like. If you are on LibreOffice 6.2 or later, you can go down to View User Interface and go with a tabbed view if you do like the tabbed system. So that is, I personally do not like it, but you do have it now. If you bring that on and you're like, how do you get it back? It's the gear up here in the corner here. Just go into your user interface and go back up to your standard toolbar. So you have that option as well. Let's see if I don't think they do tweaks by default. They don't do tweaks by default, so I can't really change the theming without installing the tweak tool. But we could probably do that. Let's go ahead and install a couple applications here. Let's install the tweak tool. Let's do that. And then the next thing I want to install is let's go with Kdenlive. Just because I want to see what a K application is going to look like. Is Kdenlive? No applications found. Apparently we can't install Kdenlive. Interesting. FileZilla is not there either. Apparently there's no K applications enabled. Uh-oh, that's frightening. All right, that's kind of a downside. Those are like 2 applications I use on a regular basis. Let's see. Oh, you know why? Because I think those are actually going to be inside of RPM Fusion. Let's go ahead and go into our software repositories. And let's see. I thought that was there. They used to have the ability to just do your basic, the full basic, see, that's there. Is it just not updated? I don't know. We should, with the third-party repositories enabled, I should be able to install VLC. You guys are probably telling me in the chat there how to do that off the top. I'd have to look that one up again. You should be able to do that by default in this version. I know in 29 or 30, I think that they did that. Not sure what the situation is here, unless I just need to update the cache. Interesting. Let's see. Can I remember how to install something on the terminal on Fedora? I think I do. Hold on. It should be DNF, right? Sudo DNF. Is it sudo DNF update? I don't remember. All right, so I ran the whole system updates, and in the meanwhile, we were chatting, and this is what chat told me. The reason you would keep search in the calculator is it will allow you to do calculations here. So if I do search for 1 plus 1, I get no results. But if we come over here, back into our settings, re-enable the calculator on search. Now when I go to search, if I type a 1 plus 1, then the calculator tells me what the answer happens to be, and I can copy it. Okay, so that's cool. Learn something new every day. Didn't realize that. All right. Now that we have our system updates done, I'm going to see if the Software Center happens to have anything. I want to see if, for example, they might have FileZilla. Still no applications found. We're going to test it out from the terminal. So sudo DNF install FileZilla. Let's see if that works. So yeah, I can install apparently the K apps from the terminal, but I can't seem to install them from the Software Center. So that's a little bit problematic. Like, it's not going to get in my way personally. That wouldn't keep me from using it. But it is going to prevent some people, newer people to Linux, are going to have a bigger challenge with that. Okay, we cannot do Kdenlive though right here. So I will have to research how to install Kdenlive. We're not going to do that right now. But hey, we do have now a K application. Let's go ahead and see what FileZilla will look like. Well, it's a Qt application, not a K application. So yeah, it's just fine. So no issues with that one there. And then I'm wondering actually about VLC as well. No, VLC is not there. So apparently RPM Fusion's not there. I'll have to look up. I don't remember off the top of my head how to add RPM Fusion to Fedora off the top. We're not going to bother with that right now. I do, though, want to have a look at the tweaks. All right, so here's our basic application themes. So now we can change to a variety of different themes. So if you do want to run a dark theme, just install your tweaks and you can go ahead and do that. There's images. Okay, so here, if you do want a separate lock screen image, apparently, hopefully I can have a separate lock screen image now. So also what they said in the chat as I was waiting for the updates to go is, as of, I think, this version, your desktop background always uses the same background for your wallpaper and your lock screen. But if you do want to change that, you can still do that from the tweak tools. Also, we did not look at the new lock screen yet, so let's go ahead and do that. So this is what the new lock screen looks like. Very nice. I do like it. So yes, this is definitely an improvement over what it was. So there are our final walkthrough items on Fedora 32 beta. Hey, I learned something new. Didn't know about that calculator and Gnome thing. That's cool to know. So overall, though, the system's pretty good. It is going to get in the way of, if I want to install the K applications and a few other things, I'm going to need to research how to do that. It is going to be possible. I just need to research exactly how to do it again off the top. It looks like RPM Fusion is not enabled, even though our third-party repositories are. That used to be something that was very easily enabled. Not used to be a long time ago, but as of like 29, when they made it a lot easier, I remember being able to install that right out of the box. I can't seem to do that now, so I'm gonna have to research that. So what that kind of means is if you do need to rely on K applications and things like Kdenlive, K address book, and those K applications, you are going to have a few extra steps. So just be aware of that using Fedora on 32. But outside of that, though, it's a very nice, very good system. If you are wanting to run Gnome, I would say that Fedora is probably the best overall Gnome experience. It's very nice, very polished, works one of the best. The Gnome Software Center seems to work the best. But again, things like not being able to install FileZilla in the Software Center, having to do that through the terminal, things like that, those could get in the way of some users. You need to weigh that decision for yourself. So with that, thanks for watching this video. If you've not already subscribed to the channel or given the video a thumbs up or, hey, thumbs down if you totally hated it, why not? Or leave us a comment down below. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.